Hello again, everybody. This is Carly Opson, your instructor for SERP 503 Special Services in the Schools, and this is your Week 12 overview. You know, when I create content for courses, one thing I need is images, and I created this image using artificial intelligence. I went to Chat GPT and asked it to create a colorful image of a robot teacher writing an IEP. Why did I need this image? Because this week we're going to talk about artificial intelligence and a couple of the things that it can do to help us out as special education teachers, and does it do a good job? So, a couple of things that we do have to do as special education teachers. One is create IEP goals. We've talked about that pretty carefully, but wouldn't it be nice to have a little help with that? And secondly, something that special education teachers are asked to do is to identify state learning standards that are related to each IEP goal in an IEP. And that can be a time-consuming task. Wouldn't it be great if we could have some help with that? Let's see this week whether artificial intelligence can provide us some of that assistance. There are 3 objectives this week. One is that given a PLAF, I'm going to ask you to use artificial intelligence to create an IEP goal. And then, given an IEP goal, I want you to use artificial intelligence to identify a relevant state standard for that IEP goal. And finally, I want you to tell me how it worked out. What was the quality of the IEP goal? Did you find state standards, and did it do it in a reasonable amount of time? There are a couple of activities that will get you ready for the quiz and to understand what we're doing here. First, in terms of IEP goals, I've posted this great article that describes the development of IEP goals using artificial intelligence. It's a really fresh article, 2024, and you'll find some useful tools in there, and it goes into a lot of depth. Then in this video, I will show you how I took a PLAF, plugged it right into an artificial intelligence tool or assistant, and looked at an IEP goal that it turned out for me, and we can assess whether or not it turns out good goals. Then as far as state standards, here's another article, and this one talks about how you incorporate standards or how you associate standards with IEP goals. There are a number of ways to do this, okay? So not every state requires that you associate IEP goals with standards, but almost all of them do, probably 40 out of 50 states. And it will be right there in the IEP. If you're using an online tool that is provided by your state, school, or district, it may be a part of that online tool that requires you to pick an associated standard. In some states, they want you to work backwards. They want you to look at the PLAF, find the need, find the standard for that student and their age, and then write an IEP goal that fits in there that leads to that standard. In other states, they just want you to write your IEP goal and identify a state standard that's relevant and that the student would be working on toward that general education curriculum. But this article talks about both of those. It talks about both ways of doing things. It talks about where these standards came from and the association with IEPs. And then in this video, I will show you how I took a goal and searched for a relevant standard just by finding state standards and leafing through them. We can do that together. And then how I tried to shortcut to a quicker solution by just plugging the goal into an artificial intelligence assistant and asking it to find me the relevant state standard. So the assessment for the objectives and the activities is mirrored right after what I show you to do in both of those videos, right? So to complete quiz 12, what you need to do is to pull up an artificial intelligence assistant. I used Chat GPT. I'm fine with you if you try another one. I think it might be interesting, but Chat GPT works pretty well. You can, if you log into it and create a login, you get greater functionality, but even if you don't log in and create an account, which is pretty simple, but if you don't create an account, you should get the same reasonable results. And then I'll show you in just a minute, I'm going to give you 3 PLAFs, and they're written right here, okay? So you can get this whole activity together and then just go into quiz 12 and plug in your answers, okay? So for each PLAF, I want you to use use an AI assistant to write a goal for the need in the PLAF. So basically, you'll see in the video, you can just throw the whole PLAF in there and ask the AI to write an IEP goal, and it should find the need and write the goal. Then after you have it write the goal, I'd like you to take that goal and ask the artificial intelligence assistant to locate a relevant state standard. Now, you may be in Arizona, so use the Arizona state standards. If you're in another state, ask it to find the relevant standards for your state. If your state does not have state standards, I'd be very surprised. I think all states have adopted national standards following the Common Core standards. But if you find that they don't, then you can use any state standards you want, or just Arizona state standards, and ask the artificial intelligence assistant to locate an Arizona state standard. And finally, describe your assessment of how well this worked in terms of developing an IEP goal for that PLAF and finding a relevant state standard for the IEP goal that was developed. All right? So remember, you can do these offline. Take these and do them, collect your answers for PLAF 1, PLAF 2, and PLAF 3. Then you can go into quiz 12 and plug in your answer for PLAF 1, plug in your answer for PLAF 2, plug in your answer for PLAF 3. So I hope this week helps give you some experience playing around with IEP goals and PLAFs and state standards through the use of artificial intelligence, and find out whether it would be a reasonable tool for you to use. Take care, and as always, if you need any help or assistance, reach out. See you later.